Good afternoon. My name is Ganesh. I'm the co-founder and the chief operating officer for Prime Focus Technologies. We've been managing more than 300,000 hours of content on a cloud platform. So the real idea today is to go through how is broadcast content supply chain, how do you take the content in, how do you process the content in, how do you distribute the content in, and how do you use cloud technology platforms to get all of that done. Feel free to ask me questions at the end of the session. So here are some data that we have today. If you particularly point to, this part of it, the interesting part of that is more than 90% of the people today, the first thing that you said, when we went out to the market in 2008 and said, we're going to put the broadcast content on the cloud, the first question was, never done. How can my content go on the cloud? It's my content, it's got to stay in my premise. But then, this is a survey that's now telling 90% have now come back and said, look, if the content is secure, if it's available on the cloud, we don't have any issues, it's available. And most of them today are telling that they are evaluating cloud or cloud-based services in the broadcast technology space to process their content. This is independent data, validated, and as you go through this, I'll tell you more instances of customers going on in the broadcast space using cloud technology platform for their services. So most of you know this. What are those unique challenges that, when you can have email operations on the cloud, you can have many of the enterprise operations on the cloud. What's so unique about broadcast, and what are the broadcast challenges in moving to the cloud and of the industry? So obviously the number one is there's so much content there. That's an unlimited supply of content that's coming in. And how do you quickly scale and deliver to you? Earlier you had one television, now you have, I can see 3 iPads that's there and multiple devices that's all there. And how do you reach to all those people over there? And new mediums of consumption. And the broadcasters only bother about sending one satellite feed. Now it's not only one satellite feed to all the consumption devices all across the world. How do you distribute and how do you consume content? Security, when the good old days we had a tape, the librarian would go in, put in the tape, and that's it. If you had to sign a requisition form, take the tape out. But that's not the case. You now have a file. How do you protect the file? How do you secure the file? Newer challenges that's there in the industry. And integration. Everything was a hardware-based solution. It was easy. You could go in, plug in. Hardwares were all tested before a show came in. They'll all be tested. But with software, the reliability, how does it all work? So these are very specific to the broadcast industry, unlike any other enterprise that can go into the cloud. And these are some of the challenges that we have faced when we have deployed these solutions. People have come back and asked us, in this industry this will never work. How do you make it work? How do you integrate with my existing? I've already invested in tons of products already. How do I make it work with my existing products? These are some of the challenges that we come across when we come into this industry. You've probably seen this, you've heard this, there are different types of cloud that we talk here. There's this hybrid cloud, then there's the public cloud, which is really where you have all the Googles and what you have in the net, that's a public cloud, and then you have your own internal private cloud. And you also have hybrid cloud where certain amount of data is stored in a public domain, and then the remaining data is stored within your organization or premise. So it's a very popular concept, the concept of hybrid cloud, where content really remains within your own premise, and we have the application layer on a public or a private cloud. So broadcasters today are looking at various things. Do I just go to Amazon, push my file over there? It's a public cloud, and then get it transcoded into 10 different formats and send it to the world. So do I use this, or do I make my own private cloud, put all the servers in a cloud, and then use that? So various options are available. There's no real one answer on which cloud solution is the right solution for a broadcaster. So I spoke of this a little while ago. What is the traditional media supply chain in the industry? This is really the supply chain. So you have production houses coming in, producing the content in various shapes, size, and forms, in DVDs, in tapes, and then sending it across, couriering it across. And then it goes sequentially across the divisions. It goes to the programming team, it goes to the legal, complaints, quality check, editorial, and the promo production and the various departments that's involved in the broadcast supply chain. Now, by the time the sequential process gets done, that's, your people are waiting for the thing. It's like a supply chain, right? Until the next process gets done, you're waiting for it, and not only it causes delays, it's also very inefficient in the way you work and how you produce content. So, and then it goes to play out and syndication. Now, what we have done, and again, tape-based, manual, sequential, involves a lot of physical movement. This has been the chain. Now, how does the TV cloud and the digital supply chain move now? What we have done today in real implementation, as I said, we're managing more than 300,000 hours of content, is, all these production houses are now fibered up, connected to each other, to the broadcaster, and they're all coming over from what are called as clear edge servers. So you have edge servers sitting at where the production house is finishing the content, they drop it into an edge server, and they all come through right into this, and they get into the center. So now what has happened is, instead of a sequential process that was going on, now you suddenly have the content in the middle, and thanks to file-based operations, thanks to the ability of you handling and all the types of content, you now are able to create a proxy of that content and then get the content into the middle of the organization or the broadcaster, and suddenly everybody in the system, and people who are in the broadcast industry will know that more than 70% of the divisions that they need, they don't really need the high resolution material. All they need is the proxy content. All they need is to see the content. For somebody to do a legal or a compliance or a programming check, all they need to see is, is this content good to go on air? Probably the only two people who need it are the people who do the technical check of the file, and they get to get the file, but really the content comes in the middle of the universe, and then everybody gets access into the same content, and then it gets on from there. You get transcoded, and then it goes to YouTube and various other players. So this is really how the world is moving. This is how the broadcast supply chain is changing, and where the cloud comes into use is, the cloud comes into use right at this point of time where the edge network is in and all the content is coming in, and getting this content available to everybody, and then at the distribution layer. So there are various cloud solutions that are available today in performing many of these operations. Now, getting into what really can you do in the cloud. So there's so many things that, there's so many applications, there's so many functionality that can get done in a broadcast supply chain. So there's the workflow and asset management part of it. There's archival, there's so many workflows with regard to subtitling, editing, transcoding, cataloging, and packaging and delivery. There's a lot of things that you can get done, and is cloud the right solution for everything? Can you get it done? I've tried to present my based on our 5 years of implementation, having managed a lot of broadcasters on our cloud-based solution. I've tried to come in the next few slides, try to present a view of what's the happy scene, where are things easy to move over to a cloud today, where are broadcasters moving to a cloud-based solution today. And if you go one by one, the workflow and the asset management part, pretty much today it's accepted today that the workflows can sit on a cloud layer and can perform reliably well. Security is a challenge because within certain enterprises you need to manage it very tightly within your organization. But barring that, if you can manage that, it's not a red, but definitely it's something that you need to manage and be aware of. And the flexibility is something that really attracts people in how to do it. If you have a very large broadcaster, the fact is the broadcaster is going to have multiple offices around the world or within a country. And even if they have to go and put a workflow or an asset management solution, they're not going to go put within their own office, which is how they were doing it earlier. But they're going to put it in a data center, they're going to put it in a cloud so that everybody can come and access that layer and work on it. So the workflow part of it is pretty much available and easily transitionable to a cloud solution. There's a lot of bulk digitization. As I said, there's a lot of content that was available in tape, and tapes were how we moved content, DVDs were how we're doing it. Can that activity be moved to a cloud-based operation? Can you move it to a low-cost place where you can do all the bulk digitization and move it back? The answer is yes, but the whole cost of the return on the ROI is the return on investment. If you put some money into this, does it really make sense? It really doesn't make sense because the cost of moving tapes from a facility to another facility, trying to get it all done, the whole insurance and the travel logistics is very difficult. So, barring that, if you can deal with that, that's an easy part. I'm sure all of you have heard of Amazon S3 Cloud and what Amazon gives you as secure storage. You can push it to an Amazon storage and it remains forever, and it really doesn't cost you anything. Again, it's as a cloud-based operation, the availability Amazon is always on. It's serviceable. Security and flexibility. I'll come back to that. Return on investment is definitely perfect in a digital archival solution on a cloud-based platform. Security is today more or less agreed, but again, for the same reason I said before, people don't really feel today that if it's not within their premise, it's not secure. So that's a feeling. It's a perception. It's got to be overcome. Again, flexibility, because when a content is within your premise and an archive is within your premise, you can go and fetch it quickly. And if you're in a cloud-based solution, you're relying upon an internet to get that content back. So the same flexibility that you have in an in-house solution, you don't have it in a cloud-based solution unless you have a really big internet pipe that you are very secure of. Barring that, it's definitely there. Transcoding and repurposing for the same reason is a definite green. It's being done worldwide. People are using transcoding services on the cloud. Again, the reason why flexibility is marked in yellow is because you have to push the content. You have to move the content to the cloud and get it all done. So if you don't have a big internet pipe to move the content and get it transcoded, it's not really flexible. If you have it within your office and you transcode, it's much faster, easier. There's subtitling and captioning services. In terms of service availability, when you're doing subtitling within your premise, you're fairly in control, but when you give it out, you're not very sure on the availability part of it. Editing, a very different opinion by people. Most of the broadcasters continue to edit within their premise. They feel that it's a premium content, it gets out, it's no longer secure, people will see it before it's broadcast. So it's a point of view, return on investment, the ability to manage a large production environment where the editors are working out of a cloud, they're working from their home, is still not very proven. Though there are enough solutions in the market today to do cloud editing. The technology is there. Is it being deployed? The answer is probably no. Cataloging, again, very similar. Possible, you can tag content sitting in your home. Again, in terms of service availability and security, there are different thoughts on that. Packaging and technical check kind of an activity, definitely it's doable. You can package your content. If you have to deliver to Netflix or iTunes, you can package it content. You can put it to a cloud-based platform. They can package it for you and deliver it back to a delivery. As I said, it's absolutely the first time. Whenever people came into delivering solution, I'm sure you all used Sendit and Dropbox and all of that. So they're all cloud-based solutions. So you send it to them, they go ahead and deliver it back. So coming to the last few slides. So what is the new life? What is the new normal? What we think is ready in the broadcast supply chain and the new normal is in the scenario that we are looking from migration from tape to tapeless and file-based workflows, where you need to be very efficient in operations and give quick to the market. You need to have global concurrent workflows, which we saw in the earlier period, where everybody needs to start looking at the content at the same time. It has to be concurrent workflows. It can't be based on, it surely can't be based on a sequential path. It has to be concurrent. We spoke of reduced lag time and latencies, so it's much faster. Everybody gets to do the activity faster. Integrate disparate functionalities. Now everything is being done in silos. You want to get all of them together, all of them into one place. Everybody is seeing the same content. And integrate production. In terms of unlocking the value, the cloud definitely allows you to now distribute more to new media channels, new customers, and new revenue streams. About a few hours back, Google has come out and said they are going to go up and open an OTT platform, or Google is going to now distribute broadcast channels over their internet. So if somebody like Google is going to come in and put the money in distributing content over the internet, That's the power of the cloud and the cloud-based platforms. So these are some things that we have today as validated records, from the time what it used to take for an executive producer who got on a DVD to review the content, and now based on a cloud-based solution, the fact is it used to take 3 hours, now it's almost concurrent. The content is made, somebody can start reviewing it. The various facts in the creation of the promos, on-air promos, how much of time is saved for the ad sales people to go ahead and send a commercial. It's probably almost instantaneous that you earlier used to spend 7 days before an ad time was when you needed a commercial in the broadcaster. Today it's almost like 2 hours before ad time you can send it, and that's powered by a cloud-based platform. Again, similarly, legal team and operations team, there's a whole lot of efficiency that comes when you use a cloud-based platform, technology platform, in processing content and distributing content, in acquisition of content, and so on and so forth. Again, this is just the last few slides, what we have really done. So we have built this platform called Cloud, and this is the world's first and most established hybrid cloud platform. It manages, again, as I said, 300,000 hours of content. Every single day we put in about 60 hours of content into this cloud platform. So it's about 80,000 new episodes that go in the platform. So you can imagine how robust the platforms need to be to manage such a volume. And we process 10 million files every year on this platform, which really means that the cost of production, otherwise every broadcaster needs to put in their infrastructure, everybody has to do it. The minute it comes to the cloud, you come and use the platform and you need it, and you pay very less. So that's reduced the cost for broadcasters by about 30%, and the time saving in getting it all together. It used to take a lot of time to put all the infrastructure together and deliver. So we have a 40% time saving on those aspects. We are here in South Africa, so LaserNet, we are right here, E35, and they are our partner. We are providing this service today. Currently, we deliver into the broadcasters in South Africa through this cloud-based platform all the delivery of TV commercials. We do digital archiving for a very leading broadcaster, CNBC, and all this has been performed today. So it's all there today. I just want to conclude today saying that this is no longer a theory session. It's been in production. It's been in operation. These are systems that are available now, and this is how the world is going to go. So you're going to have more technology platforms, more people using cloud-based solutions for their operations. Thank you so much.